Welcome to another episode of Measured. Thank you for joining us today. Today, we'll be taking a look at search everywhere. What does that even mean? How does that affect you? Should you care about what it means? Obviously, with SEO nowadays, they're throwing around so many different acronyms. And some people call SEO now search everywhere optimization instead of search engine optimization. But we'll just be taking a little bit of a look at that. There's a core versus wrapper model that comes with search everywhere. We'll dive in a little bit to even what does that mean to you? How does it help you? What do you need to take away from that? A little simple workflow to help you as we keep walking through that search everywhere concept. We have our customer question, and we will end as always with our featured project. So, what is search everywhere? People search more than Google. And so it is how are people finding your content outside of Google? Obviously, Google is one component of that. So whether people are looking at YouTube, TikTok's becoming a monster place for people to go find information. YouTube's it's number 2, second largest search platform. So are you putting content out there? How are people finding that content? Search everywhere. It just sounds like what it does in the name. Reddit's another large one, LinkedIn, even Amazon. I get you're not all going to post on Amazon if you're not really selling something out there. So the whole concept is being findable, but where people start. Knowing your customers and where are they searching at, and then finding that clean handoff. So let's say they're starting on YouTube. How do you get that clean handoff to get them back to your site, get them back to your information so that they can learn more? What do they do next? How do they become that customer for you? So search everywhere just sounds like the name itself. It is optimizing yourself for all pretty much the content that you are producing in all the right places. This doesn't mean post everywhere. So please, I'll say it one more time. This does not mean post everywhere. It is about showing up where your customers are at and knowing where your customers are at. And the whole point behind this whole episode is about helping you know the right content or the right way to post your content out. It is not about just copy and paste. So that's the whole next point we're talking about, why copy paste fails. And with search everywhere, and now we just said it's not post everywhere. But with search everywhere, it's really easy for you to have a piece of content that you're really excited about. And you just want to go out and share the exact same thing over and over and over and over. And that is why we're saying that copy and paste can fail you if you are sharing that same message. Each platform is different. So people have a different mindset, whether they are on Reddit or they're on TikTok or they're on LinkedIn. You have to realize the mindset that people are on, the format that you're sharing it out as. Obviously, if you're going to TikTok or a YouTube short, you're recording yourself like we are right now. You got your video. But you may not be posting a video on every single format or every single platform that you are doing. And then that whole trust factor. Who are you? What do you believe and what do they believe? So what do those consumers on that platform believe? And it is having that whole trust factor. It's a simple analogy. So you're talking about having that same story, but how do you share it on all the different platforms? If you share the same content absolutely everywhere, you're optimized nowhere. So it's having that idea as we keep going into the whole concept on search everywhere. So as I said kind of in the opening, there is what is a core and what is a wrapper. And we're not talking about a gift wrapper. So the core is the idea. It's that concept. It is that actual message. And the wrapper is how that message is packaged in a specific place. So when someone is talking to you about search everywhere, and if they bring up core and they bring up wrapper, The core, again, is just that idea, that's that topic. It's that actual message that you're dealing with. It's the point, it's the proof, it's the takeaway. And then you have that wrapper, which is, again, it's how that message is packaged and how it is delivered in that specific place. So whether it's long form or short form, like for a video, when we record this podcast, that's long form. We take this podcast and we'll split it up anywhere between 9 to 12 reels or shorts. That's short form. So it's how do you take that core message and then deliver it out. So core, message, wrapper, it's how you're delivering that message out. So there's 3 components of a wrapper that matter. One is the preview or the description. Well, I should say title, description, image. It's what someone does before the click. So before they take that action is step 1. Step 2 is the actual post itself on that platform, how it reads and if it's native form. So how does it interact within all the other posts that are happening out on that exact platform? And then the third is the page, which is like after the click. You got someone intrigued, you got someone interested in what you were saying, or they saw something that they were really excited about in an image and they click on through. That's the after. That is the after the click. And it is finding out how to take all 3 of those. So your preview, your post, and then after, and replicating that across the different platforms. And this is kind of where we are diving into that search everywhere. Most teams will rewrite an article, but it's how do you repurpose it? So that is like the big thing here. How to win on those different areas on those articles. And I'm not always saying that you need to sit down and rewrite absolutely everything, but it's just knowing how people interact on which platform that helps you understand, hey, this is how I should deliver this message. The overall message is not changing, but it is not, you're not saying the exact same thing or sharing the exact same photo or putting out the exact same video every single place, every single time. So we're going to take a look. I shouldn't say take a look. We're going to discuss, because I'm not going to pull anything up on the screen, between LinkedIn, Reddit, and just search in general. So search is like your Google. So we're going to talk, these are a little bit more on that wrapper side of it. So that's how you're displaying or how that message is packaged together. So your core is still the same, but we're going to talk about the little bit differences between 3 of them. So the LinkedIn wrapper, a short story. These are things that you could, how to take your core and rework it for this platform. So for LinkedIn, a short story, a lesson, what I do, ask a question, and invite comments. So and obviously when you're working with LinkedIn, you're going to realize these are more on the professional side. These are people that usually very much care about their job, their position that they have with their job. They want to, you build out your LinkedIn profile, and you're pretty much bragging about what you've done or who you are and the credentials that you have. So it's understanding that whether you're telling a short story, you're giving a lesson, you're telling them because you have that backing, you're showing why you're knowledgeable, because people can go look at your job history, or let's say you're a business owner and you have these different things. It's just kind of giving out that having that valid, I can't talk, showing that you're valid. Can't say valid. Oh, how disappointing. Being valid on what is relevant back to you, because obviously people can view your LinkedIn. Reddit is another one. Context, specifics, trade-offs, give examples, be transparent. Those are just some simple things that when you're working on modifying your core, so that message to be able to deliver out to what people are expecting on that platform. And then search in general. So whether you have those structured answers, and I'm going to say H2 bullets, that means nothing to most people. So when you build out a web page, you have different headlines that will have like H1, H2, H3, but it's knowing how many of each of them you can have, how many you can have in different sections, and then making sure that you do have different bullet points. You do have those frequently asked questions, because those are the things that help you stay relevant in search in general, and then with an AI component in there as well. So all three, you'd have the same core idea, but it is all about how you deliver that message out in the end. And I know I got really stuck with the word valid with LinkedIn, but LinkedIn is becoming such a powerful place for people to find your messages. A lot of individuals have been asking me in general, just like, why are people's LinkedIn messages or even Reddit posts starting to link higher in search than my page in general? That is the thought process you need to have with search everywhere. It is the content that you're putting out, your organic information that you are sharing can rank itself above just even your page site in general. The authority on those sites are already there. And so it's the validity, trying to get that word out still, of your content, and that what people are reacting to and finding valuable on those different platforms that help you just win. It is all about, a lot of it comes back to organic social in general. When you are out sharing, let's just say I'll use this podcast as an example. We'll go post one of these reels that after we cut it up. And out of our own viewers that follow 154i, which is still a growing social platform for us, we'll just say on Facebook for the moment, most of our organic traffic all comes from people that do not follow 154i. It is more about the people that are interested in the topics that we're sharing, that they are being presented that video and then interacting back with it. It's that same concept when you're posting something out on Reddit. You are sharing that information, and the thing we're just trying to get you to do is realize that when you are posting out, you have that core idea and you go and share that has just as much power as you going and sharing that on your own website or in LinkedIn itself. Like, it is just wanting you to understand the power of organic content has, and realizing that it's not just go post it everywhere, because not everyone has customers on every single platform. So yes, you do have to understand where your customers are at, but finding where they are and then spending the time to craft your messages. So having that same idea, but crafting those messages to the correct platforms for the way that those people interact with those platforms is absolutely huge. And that kind of just takes us into the last thing I will say on this concept of search everywhere. The workflow is pretty simple. You pick your idea, you write the core, you build it for your wrappers. So if you have not really done anything like this before, which most of you hopefully are sharing your information out on different platforms, but try it. Take 2 weeks, find a few different core ideas, post them out on, just choose 3 platforms, post them out, have that idea, have that concept, and see how people interact. Find your key performance indicators, whatever that may be. Every platform is going to give you a little bit different information. So it's not like you can just have that same, you'll be able to compare platform to like post on that same platform, but everyone will have it tracks it all a little bit different is all I guess I'm trying to say. But it's just kind of seeing where your people are, understanding those platforms and using it to your absolute benefit. There's nothing better than you can do than sharing your own organic content. So if you take anything away from this episode, is that search everywhere. We're just trying to let you know, optimize your content, realize where you're posting it, and don't just share the exact same message everywhere. So with that, we're going to move in to our customer question. And this it's very relevant to today's episode. Do we really need to keep adding content to our website? Short answer, well, no, you don't have to. Do we recommend it? We'll put some caveats to this recommend. When I talk to someone about how to grow your site organically, will I tell you that adding new, fresh content is very important? Absolutely. It's one of the first things that I will say. But more content does not equal more growth if you don't have a clear structure and a clear plan to do it. So topical growth is a huge component. So having those keywords, having those topics that you're looking to grow, where you're wanting to build that authority, but it's not about content quantity. So we're going to build out your topical growth and not worry about the content quantity, but we are extremely worried about your content quality. So quality of content is huge in this whole thing. And a large thing with all of this is that consistency absolutely matters. So having a balance, understanding how search engines do reward freshness, how AI is constantly publishing ongoing content signals, which if you are consistently publishing content, that'll help. But if you just talked about this last time, go and generate 10 AI posts and add no human element and just pretty much take that straight out of AI and post it through, is that going to help you? No. In the end, honestly, it's going to hurt you. So I would tell you in the end, don't even do that, because it's just going to hurt your overall site authority and trust that you have built up if you do have a bunch of great organic content on there. So to kind of go back, do we really need to keep adding content to our website? I would say yes, but have a plan, know what you need to be doing, understand what topics you're looking to grow on, understand what keywords you're looking to focus through on, and don't just go and throw up random content, and don't just think it is a certain, shouldn't say certain number. Don't just think that the more you keep throwing on, the better it is going to be, because that is not how that works. Have a clear plan, build on that plan, and then stick to it. Consistency. Consistency is absolutely everything as we keep building through each and every one of our customer sites that we work with on the SEO side. And we hope that people understand that when you are building out that content, there are huge rewards when you sit and do it right. But that's with anything in general. You do something right, you reap the benefits. Take a shortcut, you still might win here and there, but more than likely, you're not going to outbeat the people that are doing it all right. So the final component of our show today is our featured project. And the one we are featuring today is Torino Leather. And as just a reminder, if you're listening, we have it up on the screen. We run the show off an iPad, so it's going to look a little bit more condensed than what it ever would be. So we highly recommend you checking out torinoleather.com to get the full glimpse of their website. So Torino Leather, they're out of Louisiana. They hand make their own leather goods. So everything is handmade in the USA, high premium quality. They're most known for their belts. So if you are in the market for a fine men's leather belt, look no further. They have all different types of leather. They have embossed, which just means that it'll have the print, but it's not the actual, it's usually still like a calf skin leather that's imprinted. And then they have the actual, and I shouldn't say actual, but they have those exotic leathers as well. If you are looking for a truly exotic leather belt, they would have that for you as well. So Torino has a special place for me personally. As we talked about probably in our very first episode, in one of these episodes, I'm going to do just completely on fine men's clothing. But when we owned our fine men's clothing store that we had, that's pretty much was an online store we had for about 6 years, Torino was one of the brands that we did carry. And so it's just really exciting personally for me to work with Torino. Obviously, we were a big customer for them for many years, and it's exciting to have them as a customer for us. But again, check them out, torinoleather.com. They always have free 2-day complimentary shipping, so you'd get it fast as well. But that is all we have for you today. Please like, comment, and subscribe on whichever platform you are hearing us on today, and we will catch you next time.